Hi folks. So today we are going to be doing a little bit of steak with a cilantro chimichurri type of sauce. And this time I was smart and I wrote down all the steps so that I don't have to reference my phone. Something that I think is a little bit funny is that a lot of the people in my life call me a good cook and everything, but really, I just look things up and I've just gotten better with experience. Like, I'm definitely no chef, and a lot of the stuff that I do is not like super complicated. I try to keep it simple, but if you have good quality ingredients, a lot of times simple is all you need to actually make something good. So see, I wrote down everything. See, it's not even a whole lot of instructions. But our first step is that we're going to take out our steak and pat it dry, and we're gonna leave it out for about 30 minutes. Kiss method is indeed the best method. So, what taking the steak out does is it supposedly improves the sear. So here's our steak right here. But I gotta cut it open. So I'm gonna grab this here. And we've got this. And I've got my kitchen shears here. They're nice quality scissors that you can use to not only open packages with like raw meat in them, but I've also heard people using these to like snip herbs and stuff. I usually just keep these to opening packages, but regardless, they're stainless steel, you wash them afterward, and yeah, it helps keep things sanitary. So these are nice little top sirloin steaks. I defrosted these for, I believe, 2 days, and I can feel that they're nice and defrosted now. Okay, so I got that one package open, and I'm gonna need paper towels in order to pat these dry. I'm just gonna lift this out of the package. And I'll just wrap it in a little paper towel and kind of press in order to get some of that surface juice off of here. Just gonna set this right here, and we're going to open up the other side. Trying to be careful to cut just the package and not the meat. If you cut a little bit of the meat, it's okay. It doesn't kill it. And I'm gonna lift out the other meat. If I can get a grip on it. There we go. Just lifting it out of the package. There's a lot of juice in the package itself. So we just take it out like this. And then, hello, 5 Max, get our grip. I am going to then toss out this package. I'm gonna keep it level to make sure I don't spill juice everywhere. So be right back. And we're just patting these dry. That's pretty good. It doesn't have to be like bone dry. You're just trying to get a little bit of the excess moisture off so that way, when you go to sear it, it sears it better. I don't actually know the super science behind it. I think it makes the Maillard reaction happen faster or something like that, but I kind of forget. Regardless, it's what the recipe says to do, and so we just follow what it says. So there we go. There's our steaks. We're just gonna let them sit here for about 30 minutes. Oh, Dark Legion Mage, thank you for the subscription. Oh ho ho, because Dragon did it? Oh no. Awesome. So thank you for subscribing. All right, so we got these. I'm gonna throw this away and I'm going to wash this. My hands are a little bit dirty, so I'm not gonna bring the phone over, but you'll hear some water noises as I wash these. So I'm just getting some Dawn here, washing my hands and then also washing the blades real quick. What you don't want is for the stuff to dry on, because then it's like a lot harder to clean. So just very carefully wash the blades. And washing our hands at the same time. Okay, great. So we have this now. Dragon Gem gifts 6 months at a time. Ah, that's awesome. Would I rather cilantro sauce or coriander sauce? That's interesting, because I believe coriander is the seed from cilantro, right? So it'd probably have a somewhat similar flavor. I just happen to have fresh cilantro that I want to use up, so that's what we're doing today. But I think I do have coriander in my spice cabinet. I just haven't used it very often. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna get rice cooking, because rice takes a while. USA says cilantro, Europe calls it coriander, same plant. Trick question. Ah, yeah. In US, generally coriander is the seed, and then cilantro is like the plant. But yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's just like how zucchinis are like aubergines or some weird word, but it's the same plant. Just what it's known by, the different place. So I'm gonna get some rice. We've got our nice brown rice here. That's gonna fall over, but not falling over. And if I wanted to be really exact, I would probably use a dry measure for the rice and a wet measure for the water, which I'm gonna do to set a good example. Yeah, fluid measure and solid measure are like not quite exactly the same. They're pretty close though. For most things it works. English is fun. It's like we live in a very large world. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get 1 cup of this rice. And I am making rice because I'm weaning myself off of the keto diet. I did it for about a year, and ultimately it did help my blood sugar management, but at the cost of other health problems, and so I've decided to stop it. And we're just gonna go back to regular old healthy eating, whole grains, balanced diet. And that's how it's gonna be for a little bit. Rise, rice. So we've got just about a cup in here. I did a little bit less because I didn't want to spill. And then I'm going to get 1 cup of water in here. And here's our cup of water. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw these into the Instant Pot. See, I have my Instant Pot right here. I have it positioned a little bit out in order to try to allow the steam to vent and not hit the cabinets. It works pretty well at this position. So let me go ahead and do that. First of all, I'm going to take out the inserts because I don't need them for this. Just set these back here. And I'm going to plug it in. Maybe it is the other way. It is the other way. I just didn't get it. Okay, so it's plugged in now. And I'm going to put in the rice, just straight in the bowl. And then put in the water. The Instant Pot works really nicely as a rice cooker. And I'm going to put the lid on. And sometimes it can be a little bit persnickety, but it's because it wants to get a good seal. There we go, I got it. And you can hear that noise it makes when you got it on right, and then that's fully closed. And I set the top so that it is sealed. And I believe we are doing this for 15 minutes. Yeah. So I'm just going to set it on manual for 15 minutes. And then let it go. So what we'll do with this rice is it will come to pressure, cook under pressure for 15 minutes, and then we do a natural release for 5 minutes where we kind of just let it sit. And then after that, we do the quick release where we open the valve. It's a Bat Metal reference. One of the chorus verses has him saying, "Rise, rise," but for comedy and to see who's actually paying attention, he does throw in a rice. I'm not familiar with Bat Metal. Is that a musical? But the next thing that we're gonna work on is making the sauce. So I'm gonna get some stuff out of the fridge. It's our refrigerator. We got some cilantro here. And we're also going to grab some of those lemons. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you over here while I get this stuff. So to make this, we've got cilantro, we're gonna have lemons, and then it's also gonna call for olive oil, pepper flakes, salt, pepper, but we'll get that other stuff later. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wash off this stuff. Lay out the towel here. We're gonna get rid of the little twist tie. And also gonna get rid of any leaves that look like they're past their best. The cilantro is about a week old from my farm box. So it's still fresh, but it's starting to maybe feel a little bit more tender, like it's gonna wilt pretty soon. And so that's why I was like, I need to use all of the cilantro, and look how much of it there is. There's a lot. It's always kind of the challenge with getting fresh herbs is that they don't last forever. This one's interesting. This one actually looks like it might be having some seeds. We've got a full flower here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a little bit of seeds happening. Set that one aside. I don't see anything else kind of out of the ordinary. So it's still, by and large, pretty good. Bat Metal is a music video. It's a good check out in my free time. There's actually 2 of them, and the set of references from the second one. Okay. Thank you. I like my kitchen setup too. You know, my last apartment had kind of an L-shaped kitchen, which was also sort of nice, but having a nice wide space is pretty great. I like having a good kitchen space. So okay, we're gonna rinse these. If you wanted to make like absolutely sure that none fell in or whatever, you could put like a little colander underneath, but I'm lazy, so I'm not doing that. Just trying to get sure the water's in there. I'm gonna wash the stems a little bit too. I don't think we'll use that much, but okay. And I'm just gonna shake them out a little bit, like a shake weight, and then come over here. We're gonna dry them off a little bit. Still, you know, patting dry, being very gentle because these are still herbs, so they're somewhat fragile. I actually found a couple more leaves that don't look that great, so we're gonna get rid of those. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm starting to hear the Instant Pot. It's making a little bit of a sissing sound as it is starting to come to pressure, so that's a good sign. We're also gonna wash our lemons. Now, some people are like, oh, you don't need to wash the outside of citrus because you don't eat the rind anyway. Well, first of all, we do for this recipe because we're gonna be doing a little bit of zesting. And second of all, even if you aren't eating the outside, when you're doing a cut in, it can bring contaminants from the outside into the inside. So it's always good to wash your stuff. Produce anyway. You don't have to wash meat so much. Okay. So we got that. And it's calling for a mince for this recipe, so I could probably use a bigger knife than this one. Fortunately, I have one. I just have to remember where it is. Where did I put that knife? Where did I put that knife? It's cool, I have a gas stove in an apartment. It's kind of rare. Yeah, I like it a lot. I am cooking some steak, and we've also got some rice going in the Instant Pot, and I'm making a cilantro sauce for it. Superbase says, friend of mine's been cooking on lunch for the 2 of us on a budget. As you know, zero about cooking, and he did one of the biggest no-nos of cooking. Since we had chili, he emptied the pot, I started cleaning it, realized it was mostly baked on as you left to soak it overnight. Come morning, he poured the sludge down a completely unprotected drain. Oh no, no drain catch, nada. Did you have a grinder at least in there, a garbage disposal? Otherwise, that's gonna be one clogged drain. Did I put it in here? You can tell how often I use this larger knife, but looking for the knife. Where did I put it? For a long time, it was right here, but I reorganized my kitchen recently, and I should have looked for all of my tools beforehand, and I did not, and now I'm not sure where I put this knife. Yeah, it's not there. Would I have put it here? No. Well, there's only so many cabinets. I'm gonna find it eventually. Ouch. The door got me. Turn on the gas stove real quick. Sure. I'm gonna be using it eventually, but he originally tried to play me. Mother threw a plastic green catch at him and shot him a look. Shoot, where did I put this? Where did I put this? Oh, wait. Did I put it in the drawer? Ha! I put it in the drawer. Okay, so here's my knife. My nice big old chef's knife. Yeah, that's pretty awful. Why is it not opening? There we go. So I just keep it in here in its original packaging because it came with like guards and stuff, so it's just really nice. And it's in pretty good condition. And this should make should be pretty easy to do a mince. I don't know if you can see that, but hopefully. And so when doing a mince, do a little rocking motion. You don't even have to apply much force because it's a good quality knife. And ideally, if I had a bigger cutting board, if I wasn't such a cheapskate, you do what I'm kind of doing here, which I'm sort of blocking, but you feed the food underneath the knife. So that way, having to move the knife is minimal. And then I'm going to do the cutting board the other way in order to cut it the other way. And notice I always kind of use a claw grip. That's in order to try to keep your fingers under to help prevent any accidents. You don't want to cut your finger with a knife like this. And that's looking pretty good. Do a little bit more over here. All right. So that's pretty good. Gonna try to get the pieces off there carefully. That's pretty good. Okay, and then I'm going to rinse this knife off. Use a little bit of soap. Again, very careful because the knife is sharp. Just to get all that residue and cilantro juice off. And then dry it. Notice that when drying it, I put the blunt side to my hand, again, so I don't accidentally cut myself. And that's looking pretty dry. A little bit there. There we go. And then I'm just gonna pop the guards back on and put it back away because I'm gonna use the paring knife for the lemons. Carefully putting this guard on. There we go. And more people saying stuff. Who? Generally, I have a setting for low or high gas. You set it to one of the gas settings. For a second, there's a second setting called light. Tick it until you see a poof. The knife slices, dices, even makes julienne fries. Yeah, but as a little preview, got the knobs here. You have the little light thing that's to ignite it, and that's how it works. And when you turn the gas off, there's no more fuel, so it turns off. Okay, so I've got this. I need to put this into a bowl. A somewhat large bowl. 9 minutes left over here. Yeah, this will do. I love my Pyrex containers. They're very handy. So I'm just gonna guide this into here. A little bit spilled out, that's okay. Whoa. And I can actually smell the cilantro right now. When you cut the herbs, it really releases the fragrance. Counter's clean, so I'm just gonna put those in there too. And then we'll just rinse this off. I do have a garbage disposal, so a couple of little bits of cilantro aren't gonna kill us if they go down the drain. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and put this away. And bring out my paring knife. So we got these 2 lemons, and we're gonna wanna juice them into here, but we're also going to wanna zest them into here. I don't own a zester, so I use a fork. So I'm gonna get a fork. I already washed this off, so I'm just gonna use a fork and do this, and I'm just scratching it. You're not gonna get as great of results as with a dedicated zester, but unless you're zesting all the time, a fork works. And you can see I am making some headway. Basically, I do it in like a crosshatch pattern. This is just like non-chef techniques with Caitlin. Here's how to not do it properly, but you know, it gets done. And then everyone's like, oh my God, you zested a lemon. And it's like, yeah, I used a fork. We're making good time too. I checked the clock and it has been a little over 20 minutes since we began. We were wanting to have those steaks sit out at room temperature for about 30 minutes. So we're right about on schedule here. And really, steak, like a chopped sirloin steak, it's delicious on its own, even with like a little bit of, you know, salt and pepper, maybe some butter. But having a little sauce kind of gives it that something extra. And, you know, T-Bone really likes cilantro, and he actually doesn't like steak that much. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe this puts it over the top a little bit. If not, more for me.
Hello! How is your day going? Pog 123. You have autism, that's okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I like neurodiverse people. Yeah, sorry, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm definitely like focusing on what I'm doing and then, you know, kind of checking in the chat between steps. Cause it's so small and I have to look down here. We're almost done with this lemon. And then we're gonna swap over to the other one. The other one's a lot smaller, so it'll be faster. But yeah, basically when you're zesting, you're just getting that rind into here. in order to, oh, got my finger, be careful. In order to kind of get that citrusy flavor. Okay. All right. That's pretty good. And we're just gonna grab this one, do this one really quick as well. It also is, you know, you really utilizing the whole fruit. It's like you paid for the whole thing, you might as well use the whole thing, right? And I was able to get this lovely produce from my CSA box. I really, really like my CSA box because I know I'm supporting local growing, which it's always nice to keep your dollars in the area. And the produce is fresher because it's local. So then it keeps for longer. So when I'm lazy and I'm like, oh, I don't feel like cooking today, it's like my produce isn't gonna go bad immediately. So I really like that. Okay, we're gonna rule that as good enough. You can see maybe that we've got some pieces in there. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to slice the lemons in half with our paring knife. One trick that I've heard that I don't often use is you can actually microwave a lemon for a little bit, like a couple of seconds, and it will help the juice to come out, supposedly. I usually don't have too much trouble just squeezing it, so, and we're gonna try to make sure no seeds go in here, because that would be an unpleasant sauce experience. We're just gonna squeeze that lemon, get that juice out. Okay. And I'll squeeze it a little bit the other way too, just to get any remaining juice. Okay, great. That's only 1/2. That was great. And we toss that. Again, I'm going to try to preemptively get the seeds out because I don't want that going into my sauce. Toss those seeds. The train will go by, and we will squeeze the lemon. One little seed jump ship. We just pick it out, toss it. The garbage can's behind you, in case you hadn't figured that out. There's another seed. Sometimes the seeds are kind of deep in there and they don't really start coming out till you squeeze, so just have to be vigilant. There's another one. Great. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
So what just happened is the Instant Pot just said, hey, we're done cooking. And so now what we're doing is we are allowing for a natural release for 5 minutes of the steam. So it's just gonna sit there for 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes is done, we're gonna go over there and do a quick release. And hopefully we'll have very nice fluffy rice. All right, that's one lemon. Now we're gonna do the second lemon. Cut it in half. Get out the seeds. Do. Get rid of the seeds. We don't want those. We don't want the seeds in the sauce because they crunch and they hurt. Okay, so here we go. So it's gonna be very citrusy. The lemon is gonna provide that kind of acid flavor. And then we've got herbiness from the cilantro. Oop, just trying to get that before it failed miserably. And we'll get richness from the olive oil. And we're gonna get a little bit of a spice kick from pepper flakes. there's that one. And then one more half. We're gonna pick out a couple of seeds again. Great. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like 5 seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously, you know, I washed my hands very well before starting all this. You always want to wash your hands before you cook for sanitary reasons. And also so you can put your hands in the food without worrying about it. And just that little bit more. All right, I'd say that lemon is pretty used up. Great. I'm gonna rinse my hands a little bit. Just because I got a lot of lemon juice on them, and since lemon juice is astringent, it can like dry your hands out. So, don't want that. So that's fine. We've got that. The next thing we're gonna do is we're going to grab some measuring cup olive oil. How much olive oil was called for? My notes are over here. Half a cup of oil. So I got my little measuring cup here. Do I have the half cup measure? I do, it's just sitting out separately. So we're gonna do this, half cup oil. I've got a really nice kind of finishing olive oil here. And we're just gonna pour that in here. Okay, that's about right. One more tiny little seed. Okay. Looking good. And the nice thing too is that if we don't use this all on the steak, which we might not, it can also be a nice topper for salads later. You know me, I eat a salad every day for lunch. Okay, so that's that. And then we are also going to want some teaspoon measures. We got some crushed red pepper. And some salt and pepper. Alexa, stop. Okay, so we're going to pause 1 second and we're going to go over here. The oil glass does not go glug glug as you pour it. That's like half the fun. All right, so this is at 5 minutes now. So you ready for some fun? Here's some fun. All right, so we got our Instant Pot here and we're going to do the quick release. You have to be very careful because the steam is hot. So we're going to go in there. Ready, set, go. And now that's releasing. I'm actually going to yeah, it's all the way open. So it makes a nice hiss, 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 hiss. Okay, I'm actually going to take this top off right here, and we're going to do a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. That's about right. I saw a couple jump ship and went straight into the bowl, so there we go. We'll have some spiciness. And then it says a half a teaspoon of salt and a quarter teaspoon of pepper. I'm actually going to use this one for this. And I'm gonna eyeball it because I actually don't have a half teaspoon measure because it got lost in a move a long time ago. That's about right. I could probably use some new measuring spoons actually. Maybe some metal ones instead of the plastic ones. Alright, so that's about right. And then an 1/8 teaspoon, or maybe it's at a quarter? Yeah, it's at a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. We're just gonna do a couple grinds from our pepper grinder. We'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll call that like, that's about right. The nice thing about cooking is that it is an art and you don't have to be exact with everything. This is unlike baking, where baking is a science. And there's our lovely sauce. Lovely, lovely sauce right there. And it smells really nice. It smells definitely like cilantro, which I know not everybody likes cilantro. Apparently there's like a percentage of the population where cilantro tastes like soap to them, so they don't like it, but that's not me. I like cilantro, and it also definitely smells like lemon. So it's a nice, herby, brightening thing when winter is so dark. And you notice I'm trying to clean up as I go, just in order to make things easier. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and open this, let out the rest of the steam, check on the rice. There's a lot of water in the top of the lid, so I like to dump that into the sink. And oh yeah, that looks good. Looks nice. The water is fully absorbed and the rice is fluffy. Here, I'll bring you over. So remember there was a whole cup of water in here? There's maybe a little moisture at the bottom, but the rice will continue to absorb that as it stands. And it's looking nice and fluffy now. I don't know if you can see in the pot. I'm trying to angle you right. Ah, cilantro smells like soap to you, so it's not for me. Okay. And then I'm going to taste test it. Oh yeah, it's done. Unplug the Instant Pot. Now we're gonna do the main event. Cast iron pan. Very great for getting a nice sear on stuff. Gonna light it. Gonna heat it over like maybe number 3 or so. And I'm gonna get some butter from the pan. Doesn't have to be a lot. But I always like having that kind of butter flavor. And it also seasons the pan, which is good. You might be like, oh my God, you have a metal utensil in the pan. You can actually do that with cast iron. So I'm just evenly kind of greasing the pan, and this will provide a great flavor to the steak. Put the butter away. And now we've got our steaks, which have been resting at room temperature for 30 minutes. I'm gonna salt and pepper them a little bit. It might be a little bit too close. Let me see if I can back you up some. Yeah, that's better. Just putting a little bit of salt on them. I'll shake on a little bit of pepper as well. The recipe actually said not to season them at all, because I guess you're putting sauce on, but we season a little bit. Season a little bit. I'm gonna grab these tongs just to handle the steak, put it in here, and be able to flip it over when it needs to be seared and stuff.
You don't have it. And it's technically coriander.
Alright. We're almost there. You'll see the butter is starting to bubble a little bit, which is a good sign. I can also feel the heat coming off of the pan, but I want it to get a little bit warmer first. One thing that the recipe did not say was how long to preheat the pan. They're basically like, just do it till it's hot. I'm gonna grab my recipe notes over here as well. Yeah. Another trick that you can do is you can wet your hand a little bit. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of water on my hand. Okay, so when it hits, it should really be sizzling more than it is. So it's not ready yet. But basically you just do a little flick, and if it's at your right searing temperature, it should, the water should make a more sizzling noise. And you try to aim for like the side of the pan because the butter's already in here, so.
Do you have a thermometer gun? Those things look cool and you want one.
That does sound cool. I don't have one. I have a regular old meat thermometer, but it is electronic, so I guess that's pretty cool. It's a nice little digital thermometer, and we'll use that at the end. That's smelling ready. I'm gonna do one more. I don't know how you, I guess from the way the butter smells, but. Oh yeah, that's done, that's ready. All right, so we're gonna put these in here. I'm gonna try to put it in fat side down first. And ideally you always wanna lay it away from you in case anything spatters up. So, laying it down away from me. Have some space between them. And here they are in the pan. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Starting now.
Now, it says 3 minutes per side, but that's gonna give you a pretty rare result. I am a heathen and I don't like super rare meat. I like it to be like medium. So I might cook it for a little bit longer than that. We'll see. But you can see the butter's kind of bubbling underneath. This is all good signs. And at this point, we're kind of just waiting. Because our rice is done, our sauce is done. Oh, the one other thing we can do is make a vegetable while this is happening. So I'm gonna go to my freezer and let's see what we got here. We've got some steams in bag broccoli. So let's make that. Now you might be like, frozen vegetables? This is a cooking stream. What, steam in bag? What is that? We're already making enough effort with the sauce and everything. And a fun fact is that frozen vegetables, because they are frozen at the peak of freshness, they are generally more nutritious than the vegetables you'll find in the grocery store that are fresh. Because fresh vegetables aren't really fresh in a grocery store. They're typically trucked from far away, and you know, they're kind of in colder storage, but yeah. So what we're gonna do here is flip this over. We're gonna check out the cooking instructions. I'm gonna set you down. Gently massage the bag to separate and equally distribute the product before placing in microwave. And we're gonna cook on high for 3.5 minutes. Easy peasy. Just putting it in the microwave. And now that's going while we're cooking our steak.
Frozen vegetables, this is a cooking stream, steaming it back. They sit there for a long time. Yeah, exactly.
And that's one of the things that I like about my CSA box, is that I don't have that same issue with fresh vegetables. I know that I'm getting stuff that's local and hasn't been sitting forever. Because it's like, if you're gonna eat vegetables, which you should, but if you're gonna eat vegetables, you should probably make sure that they have like the maximum nutritional value. Make them taste as good as you can too, but you know. And that alarm should be going off any second to flip. Alexa, stop. So again, I'm gonna pick it up. See if you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna pick it up from this side. If I can get a grip. Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna do it like this. All right, I got a grip, and I'm going to, again, lay it down away from me. Same thing with this one. Lay it down away. And you can see there's some nice browning here. That's the Maillard reaction, which is what we want. It makes it get crispy. It has a lot of its flavor.
Delicious, nutritious microwave plastic bag veggies.
Okay, yeah, so it's definitely not ideal in terms of, you know, with the plastic. There is going to probably be some leaking of materials, but honestly, Ham, that ship has sailed. We all have a bunch of plastic in our bodies because of the way water treatment works/doesn't work, and the amount of plastic we've put into the environment in the past 100 or so years. It's everywhere. It's in you. It sucks, but it's already there. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to minimize your exposure, but there are pros and cons, right? If a make in the bag frozen vegetable is going to make it so that you will make and eat a vegetable at a meal at which you otherwise wouldn't, it's probably worth it. You know, it's like, yeah, you get maybe a little bit of extra plastic because you're heating the plastic and maybe some of it gets into the food, but you're also getting the nutrients and stuff from the vegetable that you otherwise might not have gotten. But I definitely hear you. Ideally, we would, you know, make it in glass or, you know, something like that. But I just want to, part of what I do with this stream is I want to show people that cooking nutritious food doesn't have to be like super difficult. And, you know, I'm stumbling my way through it and whatever, and like, we can do it. It just requires a bit of time. I've been streaming for less than an hour and we're almost done. Yeah, I've been streaming for 50 minutes. And there's the broccoli. So we're gonna let that sit for a second because it is warm. And actually, what I will probably do with this, if I was gonna eat this right away, I would probably just say, you know, cook it a little bit longer. because I'm not going to eat this right away, and I'm going to microwave it later for dinner, because I'm a heathen, I probably won't cook it as much as I normally would, because the microwave, when it's reheating it, will also cook it a little bit more. And that's something where, you know, you have to kind of, when you're planning your meals, you have to like think about, when am I going to eat this thing in order to kind of keep the quality up? It's basically like if you order a medium rare steak at a steakhouse and you only eat half of it because the portions are ridiculous, and then you bring it home and then you microwave it the next day, you're probably going to end up eating a medium well-to-well steak the next day, just because of how microwaves work. Alexa, how much time is left on the timer?
There are no timers set.
So I'm going to say that that was 3 minutes because I forgot to set the second timer. Yep, that's looking good. We're going to, this one kind of has a third side, so we're going to put it up on there. And I'm going to get a, Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Starting now.
I'm going to get another container. And this steak, honestly, so you can see one of them is a lot thicker than the other one. This one's probably done. It had 3 minutes on each side. Whoops. See, it's starting to really get brown there. So we're going to take this one out, and it's going to start its resting process. Oh. Just kidding. We're going to put it back in because it just fell in the juice of the uncooked steak. So we're just going to put that right back in to sanitize a little bit. Gonna move this. It's very strange because a tong is a one-handed tool, but also holding the phone at the same time somehow makes the coordination more difficult. I'm not sure why that is, but okay, so that's just gonna heat a little bit more. Yeah, that should be good to go. That should be all right. All right, and we're gonna pick it up, get a good grip on it, and carry it over here. So now it's resting. This one we're just gonna cook a little bit more because it's thicker. See, it's kind of like three-dimensional. So we're putting it on its third side, essentially. Good showcase of what to do when things go wrong. Yeah, I definitely, yeah. Like I said, this is not, I'm not a chef. I am not a professional in any way. I did take a little bit of cooking because I was briefly a nutrition major in college, so I did take one cooking class in college. But other than that, I mostly just have learned these things over time. Alexa, how much time is left on the timer?
You have 40 seconds left on your 2-minute timer.
Okay. We'll let it run out the remaining 40 seconds and then we'll grab this one as well. One thing to note about cast iron, if you're going to use cast iron, it is not like, don't touch it, because the heat goes through the whole thing. It's not like these modern pans that have the heat-safe handles. No. That's hot. You will burn yourself. But cast iron is, a lot of people are scared of cast iron because it's kind of weird in terms of how seasoning works and stuff like that, and you don't usually wash it with soap, and people are like, what? It doesn't make sense. Alexa, stop. I'm just gonna check this side. Oh yeah, that looks beautiful. One more side. We're gonna do it on this side for a little bit. Alexa, set a timer for 60 seconds.
1 minute. Starting now.
I'm also gonna turn the heat off. At this point, it's warm enough for it's a little bit complicated, but it really isn't that hard, and it does give great results. And in addition, you can get extra iron in your food when you're cooking it, so that's pretty cool.
You did cooking back in secondary. Might have fell asleep a lot in those classes.
Yeah, that's cool that you had a cooking class in high school. I went to a college prep school, so you know we had calculus and stuff, but none of these practical life skills. I mean, they did their job. I got into college. Alexa, stop. I got into every college that I applied to. You can probably hear the sizzling is slowing down a little bit now because I removed the heat. So, and ideally I would have a bigger container and they would be resting separately, but they're resting on top of each other and that's okay. Like I said, there's a lot of things that are sort of imperfect. Oh, and another thing that I should do is check the temperatures. We got our thermometer here, and we're going to be looking for a 140. That is pretty cool in the center, so we are going to put that back in. Let's see this one. This one is much more what we're looking for. It's just about 140, and like I said, the microwave, when we reheat it, it's going to finish it off. And also, this one has been sitting for a little while. So this one just needs a little bit more time. That's something that took me a while to learn, is that the recipe is not the end-all be-all. I'm also going to turn this flame back on. The recipe is not the end-all be-all. And just because it says, you know, 3 minutes per side, if you have different shape, like this is kind of a wonky shaped sirloin, it might take a little longer. The cooking time might be different. You might have to do different stuff, flip it over on multiple sides, like.
A key is 3 minutes rest to get to a proper temperature.
This was only testing at 80. If it were really close, like 125 or something like that, I would say yes. But because this was 80 in the middle, then we were cooking a little longer. Just a little bit more. Like I said, I really don't like rare steak, so. You made some curry and flapjacks. Food did not make you fall asleep. You need to feel it out. A good cook is an observant cook, yeah. And I'm also trying to flip it on all the sides so that there's no one kind of crust that gets too brown. While that's doing that, I'm also going to put this in the dishwasher, just so it's not sitting there ready to ruin my plans. I am extremely fortunate that my apartment has a dishwasher. For many years, I lived without one, and it was not fun. Plus, when it's the proper temperature, it's still cooking as it cools. That's true. React to what your eyes and equipment are telling you. Yeah. Majority of cooking is in the prep, not the actual cooking part. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, there was, like with the Instant Pot, we kind of set it and forgot it. The sauce took a little bit, but that was because we didn't cook it. And then this is, you know, this is the last couple of minutes here. There, a little longer. I'm actually
actually moving it more than you should because I'm trying to make sure it doesn't burn on the sides. Because the problem is, look at this big chonker. It's a really thick piece of meat, and we're trying to get the heat inside. Normally what you do with a steak is you let it just sit without disturbing it so that it gets that crust, but I'm trying to prevent the outside from burning. So again, it's one of those things where it's like, you have to know the rules in order to like know when to break them. You damn you thick. Okay. This is the one side that isn't super brown. I don't know if it can balance. It can balance on this side. That's how big of a chonker he is. That's the smallest side and it can still stand up. Let me show you. I'm just cooking it from all sides, like all 6 or whatever. It's a cube of meat. Actually, it's more of a triangular prism. Gonna leave it there until probably about 11:05. See, at this point, rather than setting like endless timers, I'm just watching the clock. So you can see that it is almost borderline burned on some of these sides. Okay, I think we're gonna check it again. Whoop! See how close it is. Okay, it's at 106 now, which is a lot more reasonable. That's still pretty freaking rare, but it'll continue to cook as it rests. So we're just gonna say that that's good enough for now. Okay, I'm gonna rinse these off. Do a proper soap and water in a minute. Okay, so now these are resting, and you'll want the steak to rest for at least 8 minutes. But yeah, that's basically the dinner. So we got our steak here, we got our sauce here, and we've got our rice here. And yeah, it does look like that rice has absorbed the fluid a little bit more. So at this point, I'm going to take this out and put it into a container. And the bowl is also no longer hot, which is helpful. Alexa, set a timer for 8 minutes. Just so I kind of know where we're at. I don't know if she ignored me or not. She might have. I didn't hear her say it back, so. And I'm out of glass dishware, so I'm going to use my plastic. Again, you know, if you can't afford glass dishware, plastic works. It's you might think about, you know, how much plastic and styrofoam that takeout stuff comes in. Do not let perfect be the enemy of good. I could actually take this thing out and turn it sideways. That might be beneficial. Trying to just spread that in there. Close this. Even the bottom's not that hot anymore because it's been sitting for a while. I am trying to be somewhat gentle with the Instant Pot. It could like technically scratch, but I'm using a spoon, so it's not like it's super sharp. You can never have too much Tupperware. Off topic, you think Fallout 3 is Game of the Year is working properly?
That's good. Was it being very buggy before? I know Fallout New Vegas had some ridiculous bugs. Like, I remember when T-Bone was playing through it, and it was like, he was doing a side mission or something, and it was like literally unsolvable because the game would crash whenever he tried to progress it. Pretty disgusting. Okay, that's about all of it. As she continues to scrape. Okay. Alright. I'd say that's pretty good. And then we'll just rinse this out. The true experience for Bethesda games is them falling apart. Really buggy on PC. They updated in October and you're testing it now because it was on sale. Ah, smart, smart, smart. Alright. So, yeah, that's about it for in terms of dinner. But it's about my lunchtime now, so I'm also just gonna make my salad for lunch. And I might put some of the chimichurri sauce on it. Alright, I'm gonna rinse some stuff. This is clean that already. Both of these can be put away. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Okay. So I'm gonna wash this out and do some dishes. Important part of cooking is also doing the dishes. I'll just put some soap in there, kind of scrub at it. Can use our tuffy a little bit. Get the kind of rice grime off the bottom there. Yeah, I really definitely like to prioritize cleaning out whenever I make rice, because if you let it dry on, it's just a pain. It is a pain to clean afterward because it has this kind of gummy stickiness to it. But it's fresh, it's not so bad. That's the pot. The lid didn't really touch anything, so I'm just going to give that a quick rinse so it doesn't really retain any odors. And then this, we'll use a little bit of soap to clean off these. And then we're going to finish things off with the salad. I'm going to go ahead and make my salad for lunch. But, you know, you could also do a side salad as an accompaniment. So, I need to move things out of the way.
farm box came today. I've got some beautiful looking lettuce. If you are like me and you're trying to, reduce your plastic impact, it can be helpful to not buy bagged salad and just buy heads of lettuce. You just rip off a leaf and wash it and put it in the bowl, and it's a lot cheaper. Gonna make some room, 'cause we're making a salad. Do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-wah-bah. Also gonna clean that really quick. Still too hot to clean. You have to wait for it to cast iron to cool down before you can clean it. This is actually 2 smaller heads of lettuce rubber band together, so I'm gonna get rid of the rubber band. One of these back. Okay, got this lettuce here. Scooch you back again. I'll probably take 3 leaves, maybe 4. Let's do 4 leaves. These are tiny. Sometimes you get like huge things of lettuce. I'm also going to grab a fresh new towel. And we're just washing to get the dirt off. You'll especially see more dirt in the bottom area. Free rubber band, let's go, right? Yeah, believe me, I am not in the position of needing to buy rubber bands, that is for sure. So just getting that dirt off. And ideally, you have like a salad spinner or something in order to get all the extra water off for, best experience. I just pat them dry. There's a little bit of water in there. It doesn't bother me. Most dressings have water too, so doesn't need to be perfect. And I'm gonna grab a bowl, a nice bowl from here. And we're going to just tear it up and put it in. A little bit of a dirt thing there. And that one's kind of sticky. Okay, and so then once we've got this all torn up into little salad pieces, we're going to grab some more stuff. I want this bowl to be full. This is only about half full. We want more stuff. We're gonna go get some more stuff. We've got some celery. We can do celery. One-handed celery grab. We've also got some carrots in there that I'm gonna get in a minute. You can cut the leaves and stick the bottom half to make a new lettuce grow. That's true. That sounds like witchcraft. I have tried it myself once and it did not work out, but theoretically it can be done. One thing I did successfully do is grow some fresh herbs in water, and I still have those. I can actually show you. If you will come on over to my windowsill. So I actually started planting some stuff, and most of it died in the winter. I had a basil plant and a cilantro plant that died, but the mint is still hanging in there. And then I also am growing some fresh herbs in water. It's a thyme, a rosemary, and an oregano. And you can see they flowered and everything. But now everything's kind of dormant because of winter, and there isn't a lot of sunlight. So, but they at least didn't dry up and die like the other two. There's still some green on them. I'll probably plant new things again in the springtime, but for now I figured that there's not much point. All right. So we're just cutting the ends off the celery, and then I'm gonna chop it into pieces. A little bit of strings holding them together, but overall pretty good. But yeah, they don't have to be like all uniform pieces or anything like that. Who cares? Just get it done safely. Don't cut your finger off. All right, I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna dump them in the salad. Oh. Next, I'm going to get carrots. You can tell that these came from a CSA box, because here are the carrots over here, here's the carrot greens here. I've tried using carrot greens before. I don't super care for them, so we are actually going to dispose of these. And I'm going to use the kitchen shears in order to do it. We're just going to cut off the greens. The reason why you want to cut off the greens is because the greens will draw water from the carrot and make it dried out. So if you're not going to use them, you should cut them off and throw them out. Or compost them, ideally, if your municipality allows it. Or maybe you're really, really cool and you have your own composting bin, in which case I admire you greatly. Alrighty, there go the greens into the garbage. And one carrot followed them, but it's okay, because we're going to wash the carrot and the garbage is empty. Okay, so the rest of this is going to go into the fridge. I'm just going to have one carrot today. Try to get all the dirt off. And we're going to dry it off. Dad just got an allotment. Chuck a bunch of stanky plants down there. Cut off the carrot tip, cut off the carrot head, and then we're just gonna chop it up. Little circles. Woo! So fun fact, a kitchen sink, generally more germs than a toilet. If food falls in the kitchen sink, probably don't eat it, probably just throw it out. I cleaned the sink actually only a couple of days ago, but I'm still gonna throw that out. So I'm gonna try to shift how I'm cutting this so that it hopefully won't roll into the sink anymore. No. Maybe like this. That way the rolly bit is vertical. Yeah. Yeah, but pretty telling that I'm like, oh, carrot falls into the garbage, but it's a new garbage bag? Yeah, that's fine to eat. Falls in the kitchen sink? No. That's done. All right. Our salad is starting to come together. Got some nice looking greens in there. And finally, we'll get a hard-boiled egg. One of the things that I'm most proud about for cooking is hard-boiled eggs. I figured out how long to cook them so that they don't suck. The internet will lie to you. The internet will say, oh yeah, just 8 minutes and then it's hard boiled. No. Soft boil, frickin' wet center every time. Here's how I hard boil eggs. And I've always had a gas stove, so maybe mileage varies. I don't know if it's different for electric stoves or whatever. But the way that I hard boil eggs, you put the eggs and the water, on the stove. You start with, cold water and put it on high. You wait for it to come to a roiling boil. So not just a regular boil where there's like a couple bubbles or whatever. The surface of the water should be doing that. It's a royal, like Zenderkar's royal. You know how the land and stuff came up, and that's where royal comes from. That's ROIL, royal. So you do that. Once it comes to the roiling boil, you turn off the heat and you cover it. And then you leave it like that for 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Once the 12 minutes are up, you take it, you dump all the water out, and then I run 2 cycles of cold water over it to just stop the cooking process on the eggs, and I let them sit a little bit before I put them in the fridge. That's what works for me. So if you've ever been like, oh, I need to buy hard-boiled eggs from Costco because I can never get them right myself, you can try that out and see if it works for you. Internet telling lies, never. DMK says 13 minutes. You say 2.5 minutes. Why not put them into a bowl of ice water? If you have ice laying around, then sure, I guess. That just seems like extra work. Just run cold water over them. I don't even do it for too long either. Right now I'm just peeling the egg and putting it in the garbage. So I don't know if you want to see that. One thing that does happen occasionally is that the shell will crack a little bit from the pressure. This one didn't leak at all. Just had a little like hairline crack. So it's probably still fine. I'm also eating it first. Generally I do 5 at a time. Peeling the egg. We're peeling the egg. Getting it out of its shell. But I also get the eggs from my CSA. So I get new eggs every week. And the crazy thing is, it's really not that much more expensive than like just getting stuff from the store. You just have to find the CSA near you. But part of the reason why it is a CSA is so that, you know, it can share the costs among a lot of people. So that way it doesn't have to be that expensive for any one person. And whenever I get a box, I have to get $27 worth of produce because that's like what I signed on for. So that's how they help share the costs around. Almost done. This shell was sticking a lot. I know there are also tricks to like make the shell stick less, but whatever. Trying to make sure I got all the little bits of shell off. Okay, there's my little hard-boiled egg. I'm gonna put it on here. I break it in half. You see, it's fully cooked on the inside. Yay! So that's my nice little salad there. I might finally be able to wash this, but the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to, you know what I could do? I could put some of the dressing on here. That'd actually probably be pretty good. We don't need to do it all for the steak, right? So we can put some of this on the salad here. Ooh. Ah, so lovely. Ooh. Great. So, salad's ready to be eaten. So, finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my cast iron pan. It makes it easy to shell them from cold water. Do you deshell them right away? Because I just put them back in the fridge and I just deshell them the day I need them because it helps them keep longer. I probably don't need to do that because I eat them within 5 days, but you buy half a carton of eggs and you hardly eat eggs. That's fair. I eat an egg every day. I eat the same thing for breakfast and lunch every day because I'm weird like that. But it also helps to keep my blood sugar stable by doing that, so. Alright, so this is still warm, but it's no longer hot. You can see I can hold it in my bare hands. This is when you want to wash it, because the stuff won't have solidified on. So put some water in here. Scrub it a little bit to get any stubborn bits off. I like to use a paper towel, but you could use like a rag or something if you're trying to be more green. Someday in my journey of becoming more green, I'll probably do that as well. Alright, that's a decent enough first pass. Dump the water out. Starting to get cleaner. Still not all the way though, we're going to take a second pass. And basically, I'm just trying to get the bits off of the bottom. That one's stubborn. Okay, that's just about there. do a final pass. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dry it. And we'll put a thin layer of oil on it to re-season it. Yeah, as I'm rubbing the bottom of the pan, there isn't really anything coming up anymore. The water's pretty clear. So we are pretty good to go. Do just one final rinse. And I'm going to dry it. Get as much water as I can. So the reason why you have to be kind of careful with cast iron is because it can rust, because it's iron. But, you know, you just wash it immediately, and then you don't even have to use soap because it's, well, you know, if it's properly seasoned, I guess, stuff comes off of it pretty well. It's pretty non-stick surface. So you can see it right there. That's pretty clean. What we're going to do is we're going to put a thin layer of oil on here. And we're going to turn the stove back on to low and let that sit for a couple of minutes. Because the way cast iron works is the oil like combines with the bottom of the pan in order to make that non-stick surface, that natural non-stick surface. It's pretty sick. I'm just going to use a little olive oil. Just a touch. And then I'm going to spread it all around the pan. You can see that's pretty evenly coated. You can kind of see the sheen a little bit. Turn it on one more time, turn it to low. And then, did you just dump grease from the steak down the drain? A little bit. I wiped it out a little bit first, but yeah. I have a garbage disposal, so it works okay. And then I'm just gonna pick out these couple of things from the sink. And yeah, that's basically it. You know, we got steak done, we got rice done, we got a sauce done, and we got a salad done, all in an hour and 35 minutes. Not bad if I do say so myself. So I think that's going to be it for me today. Lucky that I have a garbage disposal. Yeah, I'm extremely lucky. I also have a dishwasher. Many years I didn't have one, and now I have one. Very, very lucky. But yeah, so now this is heating a little bit, and you'll see some of that sheen is starting to go away as it is bonding with the bottom. I hope you guys can see that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. So, I'm gonna eat lunch, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and please be sure to stay safe. Have a good one. One final look. Got that steak there and the rice there. See ya.